dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky. This is WYMT Mountain News First at 4.
Good afternoon, I'm Steve Hensley. First at 4, we continue to learn more information following the Laurel County mass shooting on Interstate 75 Saturday evening. The latest news conference wrapped up about 30 minutes ago, which you saw live right here on WYMT. WYMT's Amelia Lee spoke to the mayor of London about how the community is holding up, and she joins us now live. Amelia?
Steve, Kentucky State Police described this manhunt as a game of hide and seek, basically. They say it's been a methodical process as they've been trying to find Joseph Couch. And in the affidavit, it even says that at 5:03 on Saturday, Couch texted a person and said, quote, "I'm going to kill a lot of people, well, try at least," end quote. And in speaking with the Kentucky State Police, they say that there is a reward now for Joseph Couch, $10,000 from an anonymous donor and then $5,000 from the Kentucky State Police, making that a pool of $15,000. We also now know the names of the 5 victims, and we also know the charges for Couch, which include 5 counts of attempted murder as well as 5 of assault. I spoke with Mayor Weddle, the mayor of London, and he tells me the community, they're just ready for an answer and they're ready for some more progress.
People's pissed off that this guy come into our community and did what he did and shook it up. But, you know, for everybody that don't know London or Laurel County or this region, we're strong. He's not going to change or define us. He's not going to change the momentum we have here.
Steve, the community tells me that they have been kind of stressed in some certain situations. If you go to some restaurants here, they'll have signs on the door that even say, "We are not going to let anyone into our business until the shooter has been found." For now, in Laurel County, Amelia Lee, WYMT Mountain News.
Amelia, thank you. Of course, we'll continue to keep you updated as we learn more here on WYMT and WYMT.com and have another update in our next half hour. And now to the big political story this week. The presidential debate is tomorrow night in Philadelphia. WYMT White House correspondent John Decker joins us now live for a preview on that. John, how have Harris and Trump been preparing for this first and likely only debate?
Yeah, that's right. It's likely the only time we'll see Kamala Harris and Donald Trump on the same stage at the same time during this presidential campaign. They've been preparing for it very differently. For the vice president, she has been ensconced in Western Pennsylvania, Pittsburgh specifically, for the past 4 days, preparing with her campaign advisors for this one-on-one matchup with former President Donald Trump. Essentially going through the types of questions that she's likely to get, the types of answers that she will give, and also focusing in on what she believes are her strong suits as it relates to this debate. For the former president, he's been at his golf club in New Jersey. He says he goes through policy sessions with his advisors. No run-through as it relates to preparations for this debate. This is the 7th time that he will go through a presidential debate. That's the most that any candidate has ever gone through in the entire history of this country.
John, you've spoken to advisors to both campaigns. What have they told you are their respective strategies for tomorrow night?
Well, the strategies may be different than what we see in the moment. But for Donald Trump, his advisors are saying to him, stick to policy. Stick to the issues, because they believe they have winning issues versus Kamala Harris. The problem is they are concerned that he may get into personalities and personal attacks against Vice President Harris. For Vice President Harris, her goal is to show what her view of the country is, her vision of the country is going forward if she's elected president, versus what she believes would be an adverse view in terms of the vision of the country presented by former President Donald Trump. She will focus on issues like the economy and border security. And in addition to that, reproductive rights. That has been a strong suit for Democrats, has really energized Democrats. We've seen this in the midterm elections 2 years ago.
So what can viewers at home expect to see tomorrow night in terms of the debate's format?
Yeah, it's a very similar format to what they saw back on June the 27th when it was Donald Trump versus Joe Biden. It's a 90-minute long debate. The moderators, we know them, Lindsay Davis and David Muir from ABC News. The candidates themselves will not have an opportunity for opening statements, but they will have closing statements. There was a coin flip. Donald Trump will deliver the 2-minute-long closing statement for this presidential debate. We also know that when one candidate is speaking, the other candidate's mic is muted. That's the same rule that applied from that debate in late June. And in addition to that, we know from the past debate, there is no studio audience that will be in place for this presidential debate. So you won't hear applause lines after maybe good attack lines that are given by either Donald Trump or Kamala Harris.
Finally, real quick, John, in other political news, what are the chances of a government shutdown at the end of this month?
Well, that's something that leaders of both parties want to avoid. And what we typically see, particularly in an election year, is essentially kicking the can down the road, funding the government past the presidential election. And I think that's what we're likely going to see. We're not there yet. There's still some disagreements that exist, but it would benefit both Democrats and Republicans to get this issue out of the way and allow those members of Congress, all the House members, to campaign for re-election, those 30 or so senators to campaign for re-election back in their home state without having to worry about whether there's going to be a government shutdown. Once again, we're not there yet in terms of a deal, but I think we will likely get there by the end of this month.
All right, John Decker, live in Philadelphia. We'll all be watching the presidential debate tomorrow night. Thank you very much. Now let's get a check of weather.
Wow, we had a fall-like weekend across the area. Temperatures were in the 60s and 70s, and we had a chilly start to the morning. Take a look here at the morning lows. We made it to 41 in Hazard, 47 Jackson, 41 in Irvin, 41 in Monticello and Williamsburg. Look at Grundy. 30 degrees. Talk about chilly across portions of Virginia. 45 was the high, or the current the current low, I should say, the observed low in Middlesboro. And right now we're seeing temperatures in the mid to upper 70s. Again, beautiful weather and a beautiful start to the work week. But that will change as we go throughout the work week as summer's saying, hold on, I'm not done yet. Here's a look at live pinpoint Doppler radar. All is quiet across eastern Kentucky, and this will get a break as we go throughout the next couple of days. It's when we get into Thursday night that rain chances start to pick up. But overnight, look at that temperature trend. 64 by 9 o'clock, 56 by 1 a.m., 5 a.m. we'll get a 51 degrees. When you wake up in the morning, there you go. Temperatures back into the 40s and 50s. I'll have your complete first alert forecast coming up in a few minutes. Steve.